Peace, love and light to you all, family. I welcome you once again to another YouTube video with me, your host, Mathix. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are good, wherever you are watching this from in the world. Thank you to the people around the world who watch and subscribe to this information, not just this channel. It's a very big thing. It really does affirm that a shift is upon us. And also thank you to those who engage with me on the comment section. I find that very helpful because, you know, it keeps me on my toes also as well, because you let me know sometimes what it is that you want to hear about or what you want me to talk about. I do take those into consideration, and I will get to those videos. Like in the last one, someone said I should explain consciousness and the significance of it and the importance of it. Those are very important subjects that you guys bring about. So today I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to quickly explain the measuring of the heart at the point of death, which is what they call the weighing of the hearts on the scale of Maat. So, okay, when you look at the history of the world, most of what we are dealing with today is based on things that have been. That's why they say nothing is new under the sun. Most of what we deal with today, a template has already been set by the ancients, because they've experienced things for thousands of years. That's how we have writing and science and maths and all of these things that make us seem so advanced. The reason why we seem so advanced is because we already found them there as a foundation. So we just take this and then we run with it, but they've been laid there as a foundation. So in ancient Africa, in ancient Kemet, in ancient Egypt, in ancient Kibulan, in ancient Kush, whatever you want to call it, the native people, in their high culture, in their high civilization, they spoke about things in a very symbolic way. They explained spiritual phenomena and earthly phenomena in ways that you would have to raise yourself to a certain level of consciousness in order for you to understand that, because some of these things were very sacred, and thus then they were put in the form of a secret that you would have to go through some form of rites of passage or initiation in order to come into that occult power. Because there are certain things that if you knew about, or certain knowledge that if you knew about, but your heart or your whole demeanor was not in the right place, you could cause harm onto others, and you could also cause harm onto yourself. So that's why these things were put in a form of secrecy, that not just anyone who just perceived it would be able to understand it. So one of the things that was put there is what they call the weighing of the hearts. So you see, I'm sure some of you all have seen this. There's a series called Gods of America where they show this thing where there's a humanoid figure with the head of a jackal, right? So when you see what they call the Death Reaper, when you die, and then there's that being that appears with the black robe and then holding that sickle, that represents the guardian of the cross worlds, or when you're about to cross over, there's what they call death comes and gets you and then takes you to the other side. That whole thing that you see is taken from the ancient Egyptian god called Anubis. So Anubis is put with the head of a jackal because it represents the jackal. Remember, it's symbolism. So the jackal is a scavenger, right? Now the jackal, being a scavenger, deals with animals that are already dead, and so the reason why they use that is because it was the symbolism for that. So Anubis was the deity of the crossovers, so he was dealing with the people who are now crossing over into the other side. So what Anubis would do is, at the point of departure of the soul, it would come and then it would take you to now where your heart would be weighed. So now when they weigh the heart, they call it the scale of Maat. when they weigh the heart, they put your heart on one side and then they put a feather on the other side. If your heart is heavier than the feather, then you would be one who would not be able to cross over into the ancestral planes or into the hereafter. So you would be subjected to reincarnation, or you'd be subjected to coming back to the physical world, because what that would represent is that you would have had attachments at your point of departure. So it means that your heart is heavy, and the heart being, if you watched the video I did where I was decoding the X-Men Apocalypse movie, I was speaking about the heart being magnetism. Your heart being what generates the magnetism. That magnetic force of your heart would gravitate you back to the earthly plane, and so you would be subjected to reincarnation. The feather on the other side, what the feather represents is thoughts. So they call it the feather of Tehuti, or Hermes Trismegistus, or Thoth, the God-man, who is a symbol of the mind writing. He's the scribe of the gods. So Tehuti represents the mind. So the feather of Maat that they measure, the feather of Tehuti that they put on the scales of Maat, represents thoughts. So if your heart is lighter than the feather, then it means that your thoughts had risen past the physical density. So your thoughts were of a higher caliber. You weren't merely just focused on things that kept you here. Remember, energy follows thought. Where your thoughts go, energy flows. Hence, when you have a sexual thought, your blood, which is a liquid crystal, flows to the organ which corresponds to that. When you are scared, blood flows to your kidneys, and it flows into your stomach and into your hands, so you could be prepared to fight or to run away, into your legs, right? Energy moves away from the head region and it goes into the body so that you could be able to defend yourself. That's why even also when you stand in front of people and you're about to give a speech, you get those butterflies in your stomach, because the butterflies, the solar plexus, and it deals with willpower. So blood flows to that region, you see. So energy follows thought. So your thoughts begin things, and then your emotions amplify those things. So the feather represents the mind, and the heart represents obviously the heart, which is magnetism. So it's electromagnetic. So they are basically weighing your whole auric field at your point of death, and your auric field represents what? It represents your light accumulation, or it represents the entirety of consciousness which you were able to generate for yourself while you were in the physical. And that consciousness is measured according to your wheels of light. Remember, each wheel represents certain phenomena, certain realms, certain deities, certain principles, certain elements, right? The third eye represents light and insight. The throat represents sound. It represents ether. The heart represents air. It represents the color green. So all of them represent something. And the entirety of how your aura look, if you were to look at somebody with a clairvoyant eyesight, if you were a clairvoyant and you were to look at someone, you would see their aura, and where that person is vibrating would be represented by their color. Either it's purple, or it's green, or it's yellow, or it's murky. That would be what tells you about that individual. So now, when at your point of departure, when you leave the physical, Anubis comes. He's the god of the afterworld, and then they take your heart. That's why they say it was symbolism. They say that the Egyptians they threw the brain away, but then the heart was what was the important factor. As much as they say that the third eye is the seat of the soul, because your consciousness feels as if it's being generated here. You feel as if you are in your head, but the real seat of the soul, according to the Africans, was the heart. The heart is the real, that's the real deal juice. That's why, by all means, protect your heart. This is the place greed, lust, envy, anger, all of these things. When you pray to the Most High, when you speak to the Most High, I remember yesterday I was dealing with something where it was something about money relations, and then it hit me. I was like, damn, money can actually make you like all of a sudden want to be greedy, and so when this situation came about, as I was driving, I was like, yo, God, please keep my heart clean, keep my name clean. There's a saying, an occult saying, where they say that let your name not be dirty. So I was like, God, please keep my heart out of all, not my heart. Let it not be envious. Let it not be greedy. All these material things, let them not weigh on my heart. Let them not be heavy on my heart. Because once your heart is damaged, then that's it. You are a walking skeleton. That's why, like, people who have lost a conscience, you don't have a heart. Have a heart. Ubuntu, when they speak about Ubuntu is the principle of the heart. It's the heart that really carries everything. It carries everything. This place here, because it's also the heart that separates the 3 upper chakras from the 3 lower ones. Everything merges here at the heart. This is the crossroads. That's why you also see the symbolism of Jesus always pointing at the heart, the flaming heart. He's always pointing at the heart, and there's flames around that heart, which is just saying your heart must be ignited. Your heart must be alive. It must burn with the passion of life and love. And it says that, I'm going to get deep with it now. When you look at the name Jesus, it's also the principle of Shu or Yeshua. In Kemet, there's another symbolism where you see what they call Nut. Her body is stretched out over the heavens, and then the stars on her body, and then in between there's a deity like this. That deity is Shu, and then underneath Shu is Geb. So the ancients were deep. They personified phenomena like earth, moisture. Moisture was personified by a deity called Tefnut. So each element would have a deity. So it's not that they were worshiping gods. They gave different aspects of God names and they personified them. So for instance, water, moisture would be represented by Tefnut. So if you were to be praying for water, or if you were dealing with water, you're still talking to the same God, but then you just personify that aspect of God into a certain deity, right? So the deity that dealt with air was known as Shu and Yeshua. Even when you sneeze, subconsciously you say Hashu, right? Because you're dealing with the air principle or with the air element. Even when you chase something away, we tend to say what? Shu, Shu. All these things, nothing is just by chance here. Yeshua or Shu or Jesus represents the heart. It's your heart. The hero, it's your heart. In the scriptures, Jesus says, no one can go to the Father but through me. Yeshua, the breath. I am the breath of life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. What is that? That's the breath. That's Shu. That's Espirito. Breath, the word breath also means Espirito. It's breath. Breath is the spirit. The heart deals with the air element. And the feather of Tehuti is represented by what? By a bird, obviously, because a feather comes from a bird which flies high in the sky. Again, you are dealing with the air element which brings you back to thoughts. Where are your thoughts at? Are you a person that's only concentrated on money, success, power? Because if that's all you are dealing with, I gotta get rich. I gotta get this. I gotta get this. Oh my God, I gotta get that next big thing. I gotta get this. Oh, I gotta get her. Oh, I gotta get him. Oh, I gotta get in that seat of power. If that's all that you are focusing on, by the time you leave the physical plane, your thoughts will be only registered at the chakras that those type of thoughts correspond to. Your organs process thoughts on a different vibratory level. So different organs process different thoughts on a vibratory scale. When you think fear-based thoughts, there's an organ that responds to that. When you think higher thoughts, there's organs and glands that correspond to that. So where you are vibrating on a thought level, those thoughts are picked up by your etheric body and they are registered on your soul. And your soul carries the entire energy signature of what you are. Your soul is the template of all your experiences in the material body. So when you leave, if you were a person who really understood the principles of love your neighbor as you love yourself, it takes a community to raise a child. Just not even complex things, just a simple thing of looking at someone but understanding that you are really looking at yourself. In fact, when you look at someone, that's more of a mirror than a mirror is a mirror. Because in the mirror, yeah, you see yourself, but your real reflection is reflected with people around you. A stranger that you see is your reflection because you are looking at you, but in a parallel experience, because all is one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. So I am a mirror reflection of you talking to you right now. You are looking at yourself, talk to yourself. So when you begin to understand these principles, and you don't even have to understand the details, but what you have to do is live out the practicality of it, of love. You don't need to know higher deep secrets of this or that. The greatest secret, which is no secret, is love. And the reason why the ancients were able to put this knowledge down is because these experiences, you've had them you yourself, because you are those ancient ones. You are the ancients returned. This is not your first time here. So at the point of departure, you've had these experiences. Remember, there are many different planes of existence. There's the mental planes, the Buddhic planes, the Atmic planes, and these beings, and in fact, all these realities are all in one place. Just the only thing that separates them is the vibration. It's separated by vibration. So when you raise yourself vibrationally, while still in a physical body, you can interact with different dimensional planes while still alive. So your consciousness speeds up and then it reaches what they call escape velocity. And so when your heart is measured against the scales and it's found that it's lighter than the feather, then you can move on into the hereafter, because it means that you would have escaped the cycles of karma. The 3 upper chakras are the ones that survive death. The 4 below deal with the material or the physical world because they make up the 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water, right? So when you rise above the heart, which is the gateway, the doorway, the crossroads, when you rise above the heart, you step into the immortal bodies. The throat, the third eye, and the crown, these are your immortal bodies, and higher ones even, that we're not going to talk about right now. But these are the chakras that survive death. These go on. Everything else gets recycled back here. Your physical body stays behind. Your ethereal body stays behind. But once you get to this part of yourself, these ones move on. So if you are not dealing with them, and remember, love, this is truth. This is insight. It's light. So the truth, but we're just talking about the heart. We're talking about the heart. When they found your heart to be heavy, it means that you were not vibrating fast enough past for you to be able to leave physicality. You become a wandering soul, or you come back. It means that there's still things that you have to deal with. There's still things that you have to learn. You still have to understand that, yes, you are in the world. That's why they say that saying, be in the world but not of the world. It means that if you are in the world but not of the world, by the time of your departure, it's easy to leave the world. But if you are in the world and of the world, by the time you should be departing, you get recycled back. You get trapped here. Your magnetism is drawn back here because you are still attached to things here. You're still attached to think, oh, I wish I had done that. Oh, if only. And so when you leave, your spirit is still looking back like, and then it can't leave. It's trapped here. And until you can be able to be in the world, which means you can buy your cars, buy your fancy car, live in the fancy house, and like live the best life, but not be of it, not be attached to it. Be like Job. Job had all these dope things. And then when he lost them, his wife was like, yo, dog. Yo, man, you dog. You're like, well, see what God did, dog. Curse this nigga, bro. Curse him, bro. And he's like, nah, I'd rather curse the day that I was born. And by the time he went through all that struggle, he gained back everything he had and even more. And even more. It's okay to have material pleasures and enjoy life, but don't be attached to them. Because when you attach to them, then these things weigh very heavy on your heart. They weigh very heavy on your heart. And by the time that you come back here. So that's what the weighing of the heart is all about, family. It's your thoughts. Where are your thoughts? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? And most importantly, what are you feeling? What are you Are you a genuine person? When you do things, do you do them to impress people, or are you really a genuine person? What do you do when you're alone, when no one is looking? What do you do? What do you do? When people are looking still, why are you what when you're alone? That's the real measure of who you are. What do you think about yourself? Do you like yourself? Are you fake? Are you a fake person? Or are you a real person? Are you and if you feel that you are fake, and it's okay to ask yourself, look at yourself and be like, am I fake? Am I a fake person or am I real? And then if something says you're fake, ask yourself, why am I faking? Who am I faking for? Am I living my purpose? Am I doing what I really want to do? Because that's another thing. If you don't do what you want to do in the world because of this and that, and your heart is heavy because of that, by the time you leave again, you haven't fulfilled a part of yourself. Certain lessons you didn't fulfill your soul's contract on why you came here. So we are food, but you are eternal. So you coming back like on the broadest, you could reincarnate 1,000 times, but in eternity that's nothing. But at the same time, it feels long when you are in the game, you see. So yeah, family, I think that's where I'm gonna sum it up. So this has been the weighing of the scales of my art on the feather. Peace, family. Peace, love and light to you all. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe, like, share the channel, and yeah, much love, much love.